2004, we moved from Livingstonu, New Jersey to Lexington, Massachusetts. We had two sons, Jake and Josh. They're 5 and 3, and Jake was entering kindergarten. It was going to be our first experience with the public school system.
I went to pick up Jake one day from kindergarten, and they had a diversity book bag they had given him.
And when I opened up the diversity book bag, I found a book called Who's in the Family? And as I started to thumb through the book, they were children with 2 mothers. And then a couple pages later, there was a child with a father and his partner. So it was a book that was definitely intended to introduce and normalize homosexual relationships.
So what this diversity book bag did in finding this book is just raise our concerns, wondering, well, what else is in the school?
This is our 5-year-old son, and you know, we're not abrogating the responsibility of raising him or his moral instruction. That is not for the school. That is for David and I as Jake's and Josh's parents.
So we went into the school, we had a meeting with the principal and various other administrators, and they indeed confirmed that there are books like these throughout the entire all the classes in Lexington Elementary School. We said we want parental notification and the option to opt out, like the state statute says we can on human sexuality issues. They said no. They flat out refused. The teacher told us to go to a GLSEN workshop within the schools to educate us about it.
Here we had a spokesperson for one of the most radical pro-homosexual groups there are in the nation. He said there were 3 main things that we needed to do, that the school needed to do. One, you needed to have more pictures of gay and lesbian families on the walls, because the more that you have, the better that it is. Because the more that children see this, the more it's normalized in their minds.
And it imprints on them, and he explicitly said, because they're so young and impressionable. Mm-hmm. And of course, that's why we were very concerned.
When we objected in the meeting, we had a couple of parents become quite angry. And one of the parents came up to one other parent that was with us and said, "There's not room for your beliefs here. And if you don't like it, leave." And that we needed to check God off at the door.
So finally, we called a meeting with the principal and the director of education. They said again, "We told you before, we are not giving you parental notification or allowing you as parents to opt your son out of these lessons." And I made the statement, "I'm not leaving here until I see some form of accommodation." And I said, "Let's just do it till the end of the year." They said, "That seems reasonable to us. Let us go back and, discuss it." So they actually disappeared. So they left us with the appearance that they could accommodate us. But what they had actually done is disappear and called policemen.
The accommodation that they were willing to give was to arrest my husband, to handcuff his hands behind his back, and to take him to the Lexington jail overnight.
They had someone deliver a paper to me that the administrators and the superintendent of schools had banned me from all schools in Lexington for indefinite period of time. I couldn't even go to the school to pick him up or see him. And I said to the judge, "What if my child is in danger? I'm going to go to that school." He said, David, I'm telling you, you either abide by this order or you're going back to jail." This was the solution that the court said, and in fact, we homeschool our children today. In the federal court, Judge Mark Wolf of the First Court said, quote, "The teachers have a right to change the mind of your child. They're going to use our case against people in other states that also want notification and opt out of their children in gay marriage lessons." Mm-hmm. Because the court said gay marriage is legal and valid. Everyone in their view must recognize it, mm-hmm. and their children must validate it. It's the law of the land, they would say. You need to get over it or move out. To get over it or move.
Go and vote for one man, one woman. You have to make sure that your state law clearly states marriage is between a man and a woman. That's your only means of protecting your children. Your rights as a parent.